Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude 79, and joining me always is my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboy Tone. Mr. Fanboy Tone, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Tone, this is our second episode. It's been 2 weeks since our first one.
Yes.
The response to the first episode has been fantastic, even though we botched the chat.
Yes.
We botched a couple other things, but I think we'll have a smoother outing this time. I think we've been able to rectify some of the issues, remedy those problems.
Yeah.
I think we'll be good to go. So welcome to everybody that's in the chat or that's tuning in live. We always appreciate you being here. If you're not able to catch this live, that's okay. It'll be available on Facebook, YouTube. Ooh, excuse me. This beer, my Lord. And also Spotify.
Now Spotify.
Yes. It'll be available on all those platforms Friday. So if you want to listen to it on the go, it'll be on Spotify. We're also waiting for it to see if it'll show up on iTunes and whatever. I think there's like 12 other different podcast platforms that Anchor kicks the podcast out to. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as of right now, we can confirm it'll be on Spotify. It'll also be on our YouTube channel. It'll also be on the Tater Tot Boys Facebook page. So we would appreciate it if you could be here live. We'd love to talk to you while you're in the chat. But if you can't make it, that's okay. You can catch it later this week on Friday. So Episode 2, Tone.
Yes. So I got to tell you.
Oh, boy.
First of all, it's been a minute since I've seen you. You
doing
all
is.
right? How you doing?
I'm a little under the weather.
Yeah.
We're in Michigan, and we've gone from 70s to 40s, like real quick.
Really quick.
And it doesn't matter how long you've lived here, your body is now ready for it.
It beats you up.
Yeah, it beats the hell out of you. So a little sniffling. I'm going to try not to suck too much snot during the show.
Liar.
I'll try to kill my mic before I do. But you'll probably hear a lot of gross sounds from this side of the table.
Right. No,
How are you doing?
Well, it's been a weird couple days. I caught some odd, I don't want to say it's a stomach flu because I don't think it's stomach flu. I just think it's something I ate, didn't agree with me. This was Saturday, Sunday till literally, I think, pretty much last night. Once I bought the charcoal tablets, which I should have done sooner, that helped. I'm pretty sure that helped alleviate that. Everything's good now for the most part. I feel good. Just kind of hazy. I slept a lot of the day, but I was very excited because we were filmed tonight, so it couldn't hold back my excitement. So
yeah, I knew I was going to be a hot mess tonight, but I was really excited because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Absolutely,
tonight.
There's a lot of things going on right now, all over in media and entertainment.
This is the thing about being bi-weekly. I mean, right now bi-weekly works for us because of our schedules and what have you, but that also leaves a lot of time in between episodes where a lot of stuff happens, and so we have a lot to talk about. We got a lot of movie news. A
lot of movie news, yeah, absolutely.
We got movies to talk about. We got TV shows to talk about.
Man,
we got
exciting.
We got a little game dropping this week that we got to talk about a little bit.
There is a little game that's got to be talked about. Yes, absolutely.
It routinely lands in the top 20 for sales every year. You know, it's routinely somewhere in the top 20. We'll talk about that, but I also want to get your thoughts on something else that's going to drop this week that reviewed pretty well earlier this week when the reviews dropped. It's an RPG, and I know we're all very interested in that.
Yeah,
so we'll definitely touch on that a little bit later as well. But yeah, tonight we're going to start off things. First of all, Tom, what are we drinking?
So we are drinking, and you know, everybody knows me when it comes to my microbrew. I try to keep it as local as possible, which means Michigan, period. That said, as much as I hate Ohio, sorry if you're from Ohio, it's just, the Michigan-Ohio thing. It's a personal thing. The Great Lakes Brewing Company, they make this beer called the Edmund Fitzgerald. It's a porter, and it's very delicious. It's definitely got that. It's got a little bite to it, but it's also very smooth, and that's how kind of porters work to me. Porters are very earthy, sometimes nutty, but they're also some of them are real bitter, and some of them are smooth. This is a smooth one, and I'm fascinated with Edmund Fitzgerald. I always have been since I was a kid, so it's extra for me. And I wanted to I know we do a lot of light beers recently, so I wanted to try something a little bit darker.
Yeah, I'm a big wimp, so you usually go light for me. But you brought some dark stuff here, and I just noticed this is 6% alcohol. So
let's crank it up a little bit then, shall we?
Yeah, I just noticed I'm sitting here I'm just pulling this thing like it's a Mick Ultra, and this thing's 6.0.
Mick Ultra.
So I'm gonna try to make it through the show. Right. Not getting shit faced. But very good stuff, very good flavor. Normally I don't do dark beers. Normally I don't even care. Normally I do fruity. Normally I'm all fruity or maybe a little bit of Bud Select if I'm trying to watch my figure. But once in a while, I'll have one of these, and it's actually pretty good.
Hey, we said it from the get. You're going to be exploring beers now that we're hanging out a little more. So
I dig it. Big shout out to Zombie Killer for that host. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey guys, can you give me advice about stop trying to? Don't do it. That'd be I wouldn't do it. We want you here. You belong here. We need you here. And if you need somebody, you need to call somebody and talk.
Yep. the suicide hotline number, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know you can find it right away on Google if you need to chat with somebody.
Yes.
Honestly.
STSH Ninja, we want you here. We need you here. Please, please, recognize that you are a valuable part of people's lives.
Cappadocia, do me a favor real quick. Will you post the suicide number hotline there for me, just in case we need to get our friend somebody to talk to?
Yes.
We'll get a free
Cappadocia, my man.
What
Thank
up,
you for
Cap?
joining. Thank you for joining.
Cap.
So, yeah, again, we have a lot to talk about tonight. And the first thing we're going to talk about is Watchmen.
Yeah.
Now, this is a show that when I saw the trailer when it first was announced, and I noticed it, and I was like, man, this is a stellar cast. We've got Don Johnson, you got Jeremy Irons, old girl's name, what's her name? She's actually Craig's sister in Friday. She's the lead actress in this show.
Oh my God, I knew I recognized her.
She's Craig's
sister.
sister.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I knew I recognized her.
And she actually, I think she just won an Oscar, and her name escapes me at the moment. This is part of the reason why I'm just beat, but she's a fantastic actress. So a strong cast. I'm thinking, man, this looks really good.
I forgot about Don Johnson, I'll be very honest. When I saw him, I was like, oh, shit.
You'll forget about John Johnson at the end of the show, too. So,
yes, it's true.
But this was a show coming into it. I've never read the graphic novel. I know nothing about that. Didn't even see the movie. So
crazy to hear that.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy to find somebody who's never even seen the movie.
I own it, dude. I own the movie.
You never watched it.
Never watched it.
You never watched The Watchmen.
No. Oh, I know, right?
Paradox.
Weird.
Paradox.
But and I know it was well received. I know it has its fans. I know it had some of its detractors or some people that didn't like it. But I never saw it. But I was like, I'm gonna go into this, I'm gonna check it out, see what it's about. And I sat through that whole thing. The show is very interesting. It's very intriguing. But there was a lot of moments where I was like, huh? Things that I didn't understand.
Right.
And I came to you right after I got done watching the show, and I was, dude, I need to know what's up with the scripts.
Right.
I need to know what's going on with this. I need to go down with that. And you kind of gave me an idea of why I couldn't make those connections.
Yeah.
So give me just an understanding. Again, explain to me what is going on. Where is this set in the Watchmen universe?
So this is about 30. Okay, first of all, this takes place after the book, the novel, what do you call it, the graphic novel. It makes very, very tiny indications and nods to the movies, mostly from kind of the look of the characters to a degree, but very, very little to the movie. It definitely takes place after what happened, at the end of the book. And that's going to be a separation for some people, because I think a lot of people I know went and saw the movies, or at least read the book, right? And there's subtle changes and there's a couple big changes.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we're talking about Watchmen. Prime Gaming.
Yeah, Prime. We're talking about Watchmen.
What are you doing? Watch the Watchmen. What do you watch the Watchmen? It's because the HBO series just dropped, Prime. So completely railed my train of thought there too, Prime. Way to go.
Good job, Prime.
He would do that. He did that on purpose. I think he did that on purpose.
He always does it on purpose.
Just kidding. Love you, boo boo. So 30 years after, this kind of takes place almost like I'm gonna relay it in like D&D terms. You've got something like the Forgotten Realms, which is an entire huge campaign setting in a world, and yet you can have like a sandbox adventure, say in a town called Luskin or something like that, and all your adventures take place in an area. And that's kind of how this is set up. Like, it takes place in Tulsa. It's definitely very, very. There's a lot of undertones of things that we deal with social norms now. Race is a big piece of this one.
Yes.
Which it almost feels like something set out of like the 50s or something. Almost like,
the opening was very very
but
hard to watch.
Like you said, kind of dystopian. It's a different timeline from clearly our world and everything too, because Ronald Reagan was president for like 20-25 years through the end of the Watchmen until whatever now. But it is modern times now at the very least for the most part. So some different things that they were doing, like you mentioned the squids and stuff like that, the raining squids. So what if you didn't read the book and you don't know is that there's a difference at the ending, is that when something comes to a head, basically to end either the book or the novel and get the countries from away from the nuclear war, because this way is the clock, the doomsday clock,
right?
Is an extra dimensional like squid or like tentacled monster wipes out like 3 million people in New York.
Oh,
and this is an afterfall of that event. Is that every so often, randomly, and they can tell, they probably have some meter to say, hey, there's a portal opening up from another dimension, and it's a rain of baby squids.
So that's what that alarm was when they were driving in the car. You hear the alarm, and it's like, oh no, and you see
we
people
hear
scurrying,
right? And we hear alarms for tornadoes,
right?
they get alarms maybe for the dead baby squids.
Wow, yeah, that was one of the scenes where I was just like, what is going on? I was like, I can't draw the connections, and it was funny because I went on Twitter afterwards, and I was looking up people who have seen, especially people who have seen like the first 6 episodes, and one of them was like, look, you're probably, if you don't know much about Watchmen, when you see this episode, you're gonna have a lot of questions, and you might not even like it. You might be like, this is so scatterbrained, like I don't even know what to follow. But he was like, stick with it.
Right.
It's all going to get tied together. And he basically said that the chessboard completely changes by like the 5th episode in terms of who the big players are. And we kind of get a little bit of that with the exit of a character. You're just like, oh, shit, okay.
Yep.
You didn't expect that. You're like, okay, wow, okay, that's interesting. But no, but from what it was, I wouldn't say it was scatterbrained. It's very mysterious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like it paints the picture that masked vigilantes, heroes are still kind of, that's what Watchmen was about, right? And it's still part of this narrative in a different light, I guess, more or less. They're kind of almost, they instead of being more vigilantes, they work with the police.
Right.
And the police, it's all kind of one thing, which is kind of unique and cool. And I think part of that is unique also to the Tulsa area, too, which is not far from apparently Nixonville, which is one of the cities.
Nixonville, yeah. I thought Nixonville was nice. That was a nice touch, Nixonville.
Interesting, so.
But yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued. I want to see more of it. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, it was the way it was. There were so many different scenes, and it almost makes me want to know: was this episode not so much a place setter for the rest of the season? I mean, it could be, or was this more of a nod and a wink to a lot of the hardcore Watchmen fans?
I felt like it was a mix of the two. I definitely think it was wanting to paint itself as something unique, new, but takes place in the Watchmen universe. And the only way to do that would be to have a lot of these like direct threads to it.
Right.
And it definitely accomplished that. To, again, if you hadn't read the book or seen the movie or vice versa, some of the stuff would be like, oh, that's interesting. So
now if somebody were to sit down and watch Watchmen and they haven't seen any of those, would obviously reading a graphic novel would probably be the best way to kind of connect the dots.
Yeah.
The movie itself, though, I mean, that's a 2-hour flick. You can watch that.
You could watch that, and I mean, because like reading the novel is going to take you a while, clearly, but you could watch that and get enough of what's going on to really. It's more about the world, whereas Watchmen's more about the characters. This one, of course, is going to be about the characters, but this one is about being in that world, not so much about those necessary characters. Except they do keep doing that commercial for like the story behind, kind of like they don't call them the Watchmen, of course, or anything like that, but there's the story behind the American heroes and stuff like that, and it's about all those characters. And the one character which is interesting that they feature, the Red Hood, I believe his name is, with the noose around his neck.
Yes,
there's never been an answer if that character has ever been dead or alive.
Really?
So that's interesting.
Really? And now that
would be cool, because I thought that would be cool if that character.
I had to ask this because I'm watching the show and I didn't even look it up, and I meant to ask you and I didn't get a chance to even look it up today. Is that Louis Gossett Jr. in the wheelchair?
Oh man. I don't, dude. It could be,
dude. I'm not. I don't know if anyone can look this up. I don't even know if Louis Gossett Jr. is alive.
I don't know if he is either.
I don't know if Chappie is still with us. Okay, I don't know if Chappie is still with us. And if anyone has seen Iron Eagle,
Eagles for life, yo.
Those. Thank you, Prime. Check that out. Let me know if
got my cassette player on my knee,
dude. I don't care what anyone says. Iron Eagle was highly underrated.
No, yeah.
Now after that, they kind of like.
Well, the second one, because the main character had to exit because he was doing that stupid fucking movie.
Yeah, he dies at the beginning. You're just like, okay, this is really stupid.
They had to do a PSA at the beginning of the movie of him saying, "Hey guys, sorry I'm not in the movie.
Yeah, I'm not in this.
But I died.
Yeah, and I got a nice paycheck out of it, so we're cool with it."
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was weak. But
hilarious.
I mean, yeah,
it is Louis Gossett Jr.
I knew it, dude. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like,
That's fucking great.
I'm like, is that Louis Gossett Jr.?
That's fucking
dude,
great.
Dude, that is awesome.
That's fucking great.
I am so glad Louis Gossett Jr. is still in this world. And you know what's interesting is, if I remember correctly, Louis Gossett Jr. won an Oscar for a movie called something about a gentleman and a soldier or something like that. And I believe Jeremy Irons is in that movie too. I don't know. I'm going cray here. So an officer and a gentleman. I believe that has Louis Gossett Jr. and Jeremy Irons in it, I think. But I know I go to the Jeremy Irons character. Now, Jeremy Irons' character
this is a big deal.
Is related to...
Oh, well, it's a character from The Watchmen.
Yes,
he plays Ozymandias.
Okay, now, is he an integral part? Like, is he like a main piece? Like, again, I don't know.
Yes. So, in The Watchmen, without ruining anything, for anybody that hasn't seen it after 5 fucking decades, Ozymandias is... He's like... You even watched the... what's that show on Prime that we were talking about, too, recently that was really good,
The Boys?
The Boys, yeah, he's kind of like that main character. He's like the Superman of the group.
Okay.
If it was the Justice League, he's the Superman, right? Okay, but kind of almost like the Batman too, because he's really rich and stuff like that.
Right.
Yes, he is very integral into everything in that watch.
Thing.
Very, very big piece. So it's crazy and cool that not only is he still around, but also that somebody like Jeremy Irons is playing him. And I want to point out the fact that you didn't bring up that Louis Gossett Jr. was actually in the original Punisher movie in the '80s with Dolph Lundgren. So throwing it out there.
I'm sorry, I forgot about the Punisher movie. Was that Brian Benben and it was Dolph Lundgren, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
Yes, yep. I remember that movie, The Punisher. That was a really bad movie.
I still love it. Care.
Do you love it?
I love Punisher.
Oh my goodness,
terrible. Yeah, I don't care.
But no, yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be watching this. And what's the movie Lewis was in with Chuck Norris? Good question, Prime. What's the movie Louis Gossett Jr. was in? Or is this a Cappadocia? Is he going off against Cappadocian right now? I feel like they're having a quiz battle in the chat, which is awesome.
That would be
a good battle. I want to see who wins this. So, I'm gonna watch The Watchmen.
Yeah.
And we'll see how the show unfolds. But like what a couple people were saying is that it just stick with it. That's like the one common thread or theme that I've seen on social media is just stick with it through the first 6 episodes. Everything starts to make sense, but a lot of the major players are going to be a lot different, which is crazy. But the first episode kind of shows you that. Certain characters, you're just like, oh wow, okay, didn't expect that.
I don't know if a lot of fans are polarized. I've only read a few things about it. I can't think. Jesus, I can't even believe I've already forgotten the guy's name that wrote the series.
Oh, not Arthur.
No, I cannot believe I'm even. Regards to that, like, he's always kind of an a-hole and don't care about much of anything, but there was never ever really a plan or really a necessary. You didn't need anything after that, I guess. So it's interesting that after all this time they're doing something, and pretty much the guy that's involved directing it, he's like, I don't give a fuck if he doesn't like it or not. I don't give a shit. Like no one cares about his opinion on any of it because the guy's always a dickhead. So Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. There you go. Yep, Alan Moore. Yep.
Yeah, so it's just interesting that it's happening, and it's interesting that nobody gives a shit, and it's probably going to be. I mean, HBO makes fantastic.
Oh yeah, they're going to make their shows.
So
HBO is going to make their shows, and honestly, they did it with Game of Thrones. I mean, they looked at George R. R. Martin, they took what he had, and after a point, they were like, "Hey, look, we got to kind of make this our own," and they did, and they killed it. So that was awesome. That last season was brutal. Yeah. That last season was brutal of Game of Thrones. So yeah, make sure you check out Watchmen. If you got any comments on it, whether you're watching live or if you're watching this on demand on YouTube, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on Watchmen. We want to get your thoughts. Or did you enjoy the first episode? Was it too mysterious? Was it too kind of scatterbrained, or are you on board for the long haul? I mean, like I said, it sounds like this is going to be a show where it's going to pay off in dividends further on down the line. So very, very cool stuff. I'm gonna watch, man. Wow. How do you block somebody in the chat? Just joking, Cap. So, moving on from Watchmen, we're going to jump over to something that you and Prime are both very, very passionate about, and that is The Matrix.
That is The Matrix.
Obviously, we know now that there is going to be a new Matrix movie. We know Matrix 4 was announced. I think this is partially due to the fact that Keanu is hot right now.
Yes, I think that's a
Keanu is very hot. Obviously, John Wick has catapulted him back into the light. He's a big part of Cyberpunk 2077 from what we know. So Keanu is hot. So now we have The Matrix 4 coming, and we just got a big announcement this week that Neil Patrick Harris has been casted in Matrix 4.
Yeah,
Doogie Howser.
Neil Patrick, NPH, bro.
NPH, which is very interesting. That's an interesting casting choice. Yeah. Obviously, when you think of Neil Patrick Harris, you think of comedy, you think of humor. Obviously, Doogie Howser was one thing, but he's been on How I Met Your Mother.
All I think is White Castle.
Yes,
all
exactly.
I ever think.
Yes, because he's hilarious now. Yes. He's so tight. It's so against character.
It was like a reboot of his entire career. That's probably how he landed How I Met Your Mother.
It probably is.
Honestly,
but then you look at Neil Patrick Harris and you think, man, what is he doing in a Matrix movie?
Right.
This is obviously an action-oriented movie, but you mentioned, hey, he could probably play an Oracle. Which
that's what my thoughts are. Yeah,
you look at him and you think that, but you think about a movie like Gone Girl. I mean, we saw him in that movie. He played a very creepy character, and we could kind of get a little bit of a look at his range. I mean, obviously he's just not all humor. He's got he's a charismatic actor, but you're not used to him being in a movie with a lot of guns and a lot of action. Yeah. What his character is going to do, we don't know yet. We don't know. Like you said, he could simply be an Oracle that's sitting in an apartment somewhere watching kids bend spoons.
Honestly, yeah,
we have no idea. But I want to get your thoughts on the Neil Patrick Harris casting, as well as the rest of the cast that we have here.
So, I mean, clearly Keanu is. Come on. and we'll get into shortly how they're gonna go from there after the end of Revolutions, right? But Carrie Ann Moss, crazy that she's been really hot again too, because
Yep.
she's in like 3 or 4 of the different Marvel TV shows, playing
Yes, she is.
J Money, well, that's what he calls her, but doing the lawyer stuff, and she's been pretty integral in some of that stuff. Honestly, she's kind of like one of those characters that's almost like a hidden backbone for them to kind of connect them all together, which is cool. And then you have I always say it wrong, but I know it's Yahya, I believe, Abdul. And he was just recently in the.
He's in Watchmen.
Yeah, he's in Watchmen,
Yeah.
which is really random. We just discovered that too. Yeah, he's actually in Watchmen. Plays the husband up to the main character.
Yep.
Or what we think she's.
Regina.
God. Yeah, that's gonna drive me nuts too.
Keep talking.
But yes, he was also the played Black Manta.
Yeah.
In the Aquaman movie, which is pretty cool. I think I don't know what to think about the movie, but he was all right in that and fine. And then of course we've got which is a good character because she was also technically alive at the end of Revolutions. Jada Pinkett Smith's coming back as Niobe, which is awesome. She was a very, very awesome character. She was the main character in Enter the Matrix, which is canon. And if you've never played the game, which I really don't know a lot about, I still got it on GameCube. I've never played it though, but it's actually quite a bridge to a lot of the stories and a very integral part because her part was actually very integral to everything that happened in the end. And without her, they might not have been able to beat the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. And then Jessica Henwick there, she's been big as well into the Marvel Netflix shows, playing her name offhand now either. God, that name slips me, but
she's also in Game of Thrones.
She's in Game of Thrones. She's one of the Sand ladies, the Vipers, what they call them.
Yep, from Dorne.
Yep. She was in that too. So she's got a lot on her plate with all that, and she's been she's awesome. I thought she was. She's a natural in those kind of like very powerful roles.
Yes.
So the word is what it sounds like is that she is going to be maybe the main character. So she'll be like the main cast character.
Oh, really?
So we'll see how that works. So that's kind of cool. So yes, that's the cast so far. I'm hoping still because at the end technically Morpheus was alive. So Lawrence Fishburne, I don't know if he's holding out for money, but he's been hanging out with John Wick anyway. So why not?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, dude, wouldn't it be crazy? If the whole what if John Wick and Matrix is like some spin-off or like a cross, like some kind of like.
Okay, so it's really weird you bring that up, and I don't want to dive too deep into this, but what I will say is there is a fan theory out there.
Oh my God!
About that exact same thing. Absolutely, that John Wick, that the Matrix, the 7th version of the Matrix currently going on, that they use his basically the one, and he's actually their new like Agent Smith. And all he's fighting are the humans trying to take back the Matrix and take over. Yeah, it was a pretty dope. Yeah.
Wow.
I told you how I was diving deep last night in some Star Wars series, and now this
dude,
too.
That would be hype, dude. That would be crazy. What's up, Pressed Almighty? Pressed Almighty in the chat. Yeah, dude. No, I'm excited to see where this goes. Like I said, man, the Matrix was a series that I wouldn't say it ended on a high note.
You might not.
I might not, but neither would critics or audiences.
Never heard of them.
Now, I understand that you and Prime are really, really big fans of all 3 movies.
Yeah, we're a huge fan. Right now, like I told you earlier, I'm actually diving through my yearly watch through them. I'm almost done with the first. I'm a big fan, and it's it's very funny the amount of conversations that have happened with me and Prime, with everybody else going on. Glad to hear that, Ninja.
Hey,
you're welcome.
Nice. Ninja, you're always welcome here. You're always welcome to come hang out and talk, dude. Please, we appreciate you. We want you here.
Absolutely. We'll get in these conversations with you. We had one last year, probably earlier this year, I don't remember, but on Facebook, with another friend of ours who's actually a big fan. We didn't realize. And it just turned into this like 50-some comment thread. Everybody's going back and forth of excitement. And there's only a few of us, of course, but you find people once in a while that are into it, and then you end up most of the time having to defend it, typically. And that's fine. And we do it all the time. And usually it's me and him versus other people. But
yeah, no, I mean, obviously when we take a look at some of these things, I mean, like here's a good one. This hopefully final chapter's interminable first hour showcases some of the clunkiest dialogue and wooden acting since the most recent Star Wars movies.
Wow.
So I mean,
the prequels.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So they're comparing
Edgy,
this to Jake Lloyd and whoever else, Hayden Christensen.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a great movie. It sounds like the third one was fantastic.
Right.
I know, but you're a big fan of it. But what is the biggest issue that people have with the third one? Is it just the way it ties everything up?
So the biggest issue is the fact that humans only use about 10% of their brain. And what I mean by that is that when people watch the first movie, they got hooked in, and understandably so, you got hooked into the kung fu, the wire work, all the crazy stuff you never seen, new things called bullet time, new cinematography, new ways of doing things. So people got hooked into it because they saw all that. And yet, underneath all that, the entire time, it was never about the Matrix. It was about humans' survival and their release from the Matrix. But they, just like anybody that comes out with a new like when Eminem comes out with a new album with 12 songs, he puts out this awesome song that hits the radio to get you all excited about the new album, and then you listen to the other 11 and they're not even like the first one. It happens with a lot of things. Like they want to hook you, and they did. They hooked you with the first Matrix. I was hooked. I saw it like 2 or 3 times in the theater. I was blown away. Bullet time. Like, what the fuck is a bullet time?
Mad Max, yo.
That was dope as shit. So like you get hooked into this stuff, and the entire time you're still not realizing that. Okay, so you're fighting. I think everybody thought it was always going to be the Matrix all the time. Yes, so it's called the Matrix. The Matrix is what was enslaving the human race, right?
Right.
So if we're talking about the human race and talking about people that, and they talk about Zion in the first one, Tank and Dozer are talking about they're naturally made. They weren't plugged in as batteries from birth, right? So you get into all that sort of stuff and you start saying, okay, well, we're going to head to Zion. You get to Zion and there's people doing the cave dancing. Everybody loves talking about the cave dancing scene.
Right.
And even though it was supposed to be more symbolic, but it's just that it's a whole tale. It's a big story. Like you can't end the Matrix with Neo flying off saying things are going to change or something like that. Like,
right.
Well, okay, so what's going to change and how's it going to change? And people just wanted to end it like that. Would they expect that you're going to come back and just watch him and Sarah fight for 3 hours?
Right.
There's more going on. There's more story to that. And I don't understand why people have that roadblock there. Now, can you argue, I guess, that maybe some of the dialogue and some of it's clunky or this and the other? Well, I mean, go watch an 80s flick movie. How's the dialogue in those?
That's true.
I still love them. I still love them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's more to it there. The problem is you have to kind of look at the whole story and look at the bigger picture, I think, with that. And I think it's hard to do because the Matrix was so hot, so new, so different, and drew people in, and they only really saw that one piece. They didn't think about the rest.
Do you think it was just because it was such a mind fuck of a movie? I mean, it was wild.
At the time,
it was wild. It almost made it impossible almost for them to really kind of match that.
Yeah.
So they upped the action and all that stuff in the second and the third one. And a lot of people, that's what they say, is that it's not quite as good story-wise.
Prime mentions it too, like even the Animatrix. Animatrix is some of the best stuff that they have involved in the Matrix, and it's not even like, it's canon, but it's not part of the main series, right? Like, you don't even, like, the first part of the Matrix, there's part 1 and Renaissance 1 and 2.
Right.
It's literally like, I want to say 20, 30 minutes of them explaining how everything in the world happened, like the whole humans versus robot war. Like, if you've never seen that, you have no idea how we got there. And when you watch Animatrix, you start to see why it's bigger than just the Matrix. And that's what people have a problem, I think, grasping, is that, yes, it was so big, there's more story there.
Right.
And people just want, like, all people want to see was the first Matrix or more, just people doing kung fu fighting the entire time.
Right. Presto asks, so how many Matrix movies are there? I know there is one. Well, that's really all that matters. I mean, there is the first one, there's Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Revolutions.
Whatever.
And you want to know why there's only one? Washington Post has this to say. This is about the third one. The film is a soggy mess, essentially a loud, wild, 100-minute battle movie bookend by an incomprehensible beginning and a laughable ending. That's a sweet movie, Tone. But it sounds like it's a great movie. The third one is incredibly well received.
Yeah.
And it's so well received. I mean, look at the fans, too. Vomit. That is all I can say. The story and dialogue in this movie is absolutely horrendous and puts it on par with Battlefield Earth. That's a user, dude.
That's Erwin K. actually doesn't even know how to spell his own name right.
Dude, he put it on par with Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, well.
My, oh my.
Yes. So clearly he sucks his thumb and eats turds out of cat litter boxes, so it's whatever.
Jeez, Prime's attacking everybody. How do we put him in timeout? I think we need to put
We're gonna have to, probably.
No, look, I'm curious to see what this one, what they do with Matrix 4. It's obviously been a long time since we've had a Matrix movie.
Yes.
Okay, and you know what I'm assuming the Wachowskis are involved in this as well. They have to be, right? The Wachowski brothers.
So Lana's the only one involved right now. There's only one of the Wachowskis
Oh, okay.
so far, but the one of the guys that directed or was involved in Cloud Atlas, as I know, was involved, which is another one of their successful, not so great movies apparently.
I never saw that. Did you? Is
Uh,
that the one with Tom Hanks and Halle Berry and a bunch of actors? Dude, I think Tom Hanks is in that.
I think
There
that's
was
the
a
one. Yeah, it is,
huge,
yes.
huge cast for that
Yeah,
movie.
I thought I never actually finished that movie. I always didn't know what that was going to be like, so I never got around to it.
It looked crazy as hell.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones that you kind of like. I guess if you shelved the Watchmen kind of thing too. So, but no, I think that it's cool they're doing it. I think it's time maybe that we revisit it, and it'll be interesting to see. They've got some good people involved. I mean, the people that are involved in John Wick are some of the same people that Keanu's been bringing because of the Matrix. I mean,
It's true.
keep that in mind. You know, some of the people doing like the fight scenes, or the guys who cinematography and all that stuff, or the choreography are involved. So he'll probably bring a lot of those people around. My guess is that the reason him and Trinity can be involved again, they're going to be programs in the Matrix, because bake your noodle and you can start getting to is when you start talking about, you know, this is the 7th iteration of the Matrix. He is the X amount 6th version, I want to say, of Neo, I believe it is. All his predecessors. So, well, is he going to be a program in the Matrix, or is he a clone because they use your DNA to reclone yourself for batteries every time, and that's why the program, the anomaly that attaches itself to the one in the Matrix as a mathematical program, is it always Keanu Reeves Neo, or is it somebody else? You know, or not? Well, the architect makes it seem like when he's sitting there is that, well, there's been many Keanu Reeves in front of him, you know, and stuff like that. So it could be one or the other. Who knows? We'll see. It could be interesting, and I'm excited for it. And you know, I don't care who isn't.
No, I mean, like, I'm cool to see what they'll do with it. I mean, they can't mess it up any more than they already have. So I mean, it's you can only go up from here. So no, but I mean, it's a great cast. Obviously, we, like you said, we've seen involved. Hopefully, we get.
We're gonna watch
Fishburne.
The Matrix together, and we're gonna have discussions after everyone, a forum after everyone.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, we will.
Oh geez, we're gonna do spoiler cast for movies that are 20 years old that nobody gives a shit about. Awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
that sounds great, dude. I tell you what, I tell you what people do care about.
Yes.
Is Call of Duty.
People do care about Call of Duty,
even though they sit there and they say, "I don't care about Call of Duty."
They care about Call of Duty.
Bullshit. Every year they go out and they sell a gajillion copies, and the same people who say,
"What you think of it?
I'm not buying this game," they'll be on it by Tuesday. So it's just, yeah.
It is the most entitled gaming community of all gaming communities that's ever existed in gaming.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious when you do see people like talk shit about it, and they're like, whatever. But okay, so anyways, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That drops. That's live tomorrow night.
Yeah,
which is strange, because I know right now at retail you can pick it up at some retailers and get it at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's been a thing for a while now. They've been doing that, but now the digital versions on PSN and Xbox Live, and I believe on BlizzNet or with Blizz or whatever they use, I believe those are all available tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
So is that actual servers going live, or is that
servers are live now? Because there have been early copies. I've gone on Reddit, okay, and there are early copies that are up and at them right now, and people are playing the game. Servers are live; they can play the game, and there's just there's some good stuff that I've heard about it. Okay, there's some good stuff I've heard about the campaign. First of all, 10-hour campaign,
crazy for a game,
which
like that.
is lengthy for a Call of Duty game, which is actually pretty good for a Call of Duty game, because Call of Duty games are all about the action set pieces. Okay, and I feel like you can only do so many before you're kind of like, okay, this is mind-numbingly stupid. But 10 hours is pretty good. I think that's good. It's a decent length for a full-on action game.
Yeah.
Obviously, RPGs, you want them further along and longer. But for a Call of Duty game, I think that's a nice time right there. But yeah, the game will go live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Servers will be up. All digital pre-orders will be good to go at 9 o'clock, which is crazy, yeah. Because I was fully expecting, I was like, okay, it'll probably be out at midnight. Maybe I'll hop on, fight the dead servers for an hour, and then go to bed.
What? Like, I wonder what's going on with that.
It sounds like it's the U.S. only that gets it at 9 o'clock, and I can't help but wonder, maybe this kind of staggers it a little bit, so it isn't a shit show with the servers when the entire world goes online. Whereas now you just have one country. You kind of keep, so you keep the UK out of it for a little bit, keep them out of it for a little bit, and that way you kind of, okay, the U.S. loads in. and then you bring everyone else on. So that's the only reason I could think of. That's the only reason I could think of why they would do that. To kind of like cut back on the load on the servers, because it seems like every year, I mean, every game, you're going to have these massive online games that suffer a little bit come launch. So, but I'm hyped for this one. Okay, I am really, really excited to play this game. You know, from what we played in the beta and the alpha and whatnot, the 2v2 gunfight mode, that's where I want to be. Okay, I love the gunfight mode. I had a lot of fun with that in the beta. Now, Call of Duties have story. Pikachu, yes, this one has a story.
Right.
You know,
that's what I say too. That's what I say.
And I'll argue, man, I understand a lot of people love the Black Ops series. And widely regarded as one of the best series in the Call of Duty catalog of games. Modern Warfare is my favorite one. I always liked Modern Warfare. And then Modern Warfare 2 took it to a whole new like Michael Bay level of action. There were so many scenes and moments in Modern Warfare 2, I was just like, is this a fucking video game or is this an action movie?
Right.
I mean, that is what I liked about Call of Duty games. Not so much, the story and what have you. I mean, some of it was like your basic military jargon and whatnot, but it was just always the action set pieces were so well done. That's what I really, really liked about it.
Yeah, and I'm not a Call of Duty player by nature. I did buy Black Ops. It was Black Ops 4. It was the first one I bought in a while. Because of all the modes. I do feel that for the whatever you pay for it, you get a lot of game modes.
Oh, you get a lot.
I tried the Blackout. I'm terrible at those games. That was cool. Zombies was awesome.
Yep.
Big draw. Played a little bit of multiplayer. Not great at it. FPS isn't always my strong suit, but I enjoyed it. But it felt like, and I said this too, it felt like a Treyarch shooting game to me, because I feel like there's a definitive difference between Treyarch and Infinity Ward. And I hold to that. I did play the Infinity Ward beta, Modern Warfare beta. The ones that I liked so far of Call of Duties have been Modern Warfare 2. Played a lot of that. A little bit of 3. A lot of Ghosts. This felt like those games. And it felt shooting. Everything felt really smooth.
Yep.
So long story short, I enjoyed the beta. I am not a Call of Duty player by nature. I'm not necessarily a hater either, but I don't play also a lot of FPS, and I enjoyed it. So it makes me think that, wow, this game's got a lot of potential.
Yeah,
for anybody.
No, like I really, really liked what I played in the beta. I thought it was really fun. It felt good to play. The character, it was weighty. It felt more boots on the ground.
Yeah.
You basically eliminated all the sci-fi elements. Felt really good. Sounded great, man. I don't know what they did but the sound department in this one was absolutely incredible. Sounded great in the beta, but yeah, man, we're gonna get a 10-hour. It sounds like a 8 to 10 hour campaign. We're gonna have special ops missions. Now, whether or not these are gonna play out exactly like the ones in Modern Warfare 2, I don't know. Those ones were amazing. Special ops missions in Modern Warfare 2. I will say this right now, better than zombies. I thought the co-op in that was the best co-op experience ever in a Call of Duty
those are
game.
dope. Those are really dope.
I mean, they were so fun and just so elaborate, and they were all different. I mean, you had one where you're on a helicopter and the other guy's on the ground, and you're trying to like clear a path for him to get to the objective.
Yeah, that was cool.
Or there was the other one where there was 2 people on snowmobiles, and you're both trying to get down the hill. I mean, there was some wild missions. They were varied.
God, you're taking me back. Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, they were fucking awesome. They were so awesome. Good. And then when Modern Warfare 3 came out, they're like, here's Spec Op. What was the thing? Survival.
You had the Juggernaut would come out or some shit.
And I was like, what is this shit?
I know Cap liked that a lot. I think we played that a little bit.
I mean, I know it had its fans, but
it's like a horde mode because that was what was hot.
It was a horde mode. It's exactly what it was. But it did what it did a horde mode just fine. But when you have special ops missions like you had in Modern Warfare 2, I feel like that's a major step back.
Yeah.
From what we got with survival. But we're gonna have special ops missions. We're gonna have survival. That's a PS4 exclusive. I don't understand that, but whatever. It's weird. It's business. So be it. And then obviously we got the multiplayer. And so I'm going to be on that shit tomorrow night. I'm really, really excited. If you're watching, thank God for crossplay. I'll have it on PS4, but if you're on Xbox or if you're on PC and you want to play tomorrow night, let me know. Add me on PSN or I think you got to use, if you're doing crossplay, you got to use the Blizzard account. There's a way you can find your Blizzard account. That's how they do Fortnite. If you play crossplay, because I played with Sweet Muffin the other night, and I was on Xbox, and she was on PC. I couldn't add her on Xbox, obvious Activision account. Thank you, Ren Fox. She was using her PC, and I had to add her on Epic. I had to add an Epic friend request to her. So
that's cool. I mean, that's still easy. Either way,
it was pretty easy to do. So I really liked it a lot. So, but no, I'll be on tomorrow night. If anyone wants to play, whether it's I'm gonna be all over 2v2 gunfight. I just want to play gunfight, dude. I'm so big on gunfight. It's so fun to play.
Get that gamer tag.
We'll definitely be checking that out. So moving on,
on.
From Call of Duty, we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to your heart.
Very, very near and dear to my heart.
You, like I, are
Yes.
a big fan of Kevin Smith. We're
Yes.
a big fan of his work. He's hilarious. He's a very intelligent writer. Not just a director, but he writes some great stuff. You look at Clerks and you look at some of his older movies, the guy knows how to write. You know, he knows how to, he has great character dialogue. He has great interaction with characters. But now we're going to talk about Jay and Silent Bob.
That's right. The reboot.
You got a chance to go see the reboot.
Yeah.
Was it worth the wait?
It depends on how you look at it.
Oh, this should be good.
No, because it was good. It was enjoyable. I had a good time. And, you know, I'm glad I went and saw it because, first of all, the release of it was really odd. And to take you back, last fall, Prime and me and our wives, we went and saw them live for Jay's podcast at the Midland Center for Arts. And that was really cool, yeah. And they did a 10-minute reading of some dialogue from this one, and I believe it was the one with Jason Lee doing his Brody again, but I don't recall for sure. And they were talking about, hey, you know, we're gonna do this because they had to shelve Clerks 3 because of the actor that plays Randall. Him and Kevin had a falling
Jason
out.
something, isn't it?
No,
that's
but him and Kevin had a falling out. Regardless, kind of similar how Ben Affleck and Kevin also had a kind of falling out for a little while. But I was really surprised, honestly, that if anything, they were going to come back and do a reboot. Well, everybody kind of wanted it, I think. Everybody wanted more Jay and Silent Bob. Maybe not everybody, but those of us fans. But because honestly, of all his works, it's the ones that are completely all about like dick and fart jokes and so much. I mean, like you look at Clerks, even Mallrats to a degree has quite a like path on it and quite a story. Then you get to Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and you're like, okay, this is a cartoon, which it is, and that's fine. And honestly, they're only showing it in select theaters, so there was only X amount in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Last Tuesday playing it at 7 p.m. and then they were showing a double feature of it with Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back first, and then the reboot on Thursday. You could go and see it as well too.
So this was a limited release,
very limited, and then they're traveling all winter through next spring, and going and showing it, like going to like say like a Fox Theater or something, watching it with the crowd, and then doing Q&A and talking about it live.
Did no publisher pick this up, or I mean, it's obviously a small publisher, if anybody.
Yeah, so I can't remember the name of it's like Fathom or something like that. Picked up, like they're the ones that give them the money for this one, and that's how they're able to do it or like show it or whatever. But it just, I think more than anything, and here's where it comes full circle. Like, listen, the movie isn't the funniest of his that he's done.
Okay,
it's not the most thought-provoking by any word at all. Like, it's not at all. It's not going to challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is a reboot, and they talk about how reboots and remakes, and it's a pretty funny thing. Of course, Brody, who Jason Lee plays from Mallrats, he's the one explaining that, which is very, very comical because it's his character explaining it, and Jason Lee is so perfect at what he does. So definitely, it follows like Strikes Back, but adds some elements. And oddly enough, there's some tear jerking in it.
What?
There's some heartstring in it. Yes, that I did not see coming.
Legit tears?
Like you could, yeah,
really,
yeah. It was definitely had some actual like trying to show a little bit of emotionals. And granted, it's in a Jeff Anderson. Thank you, Cap. It's definitely it's not something that you would expect, but it's also not like the most like the movie isn't panned to be that way at all. So here it is. But it was good for the fans like me.
That's awesome.
It was a love letter to longtime fans, and that's pretty much the end of it. Is that it was saying, you guys have been here this long. Let's bring a bunch of, and there was people in there I did not expect. There's some cameos by some people in there. That like one in particular that comes to mind. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. And he was very much himself in it, and it was really funny. He's never been in any of these movies before, and he just plays a cameo of himself as a hologram, and it's fucking hilarious. And it stole the show to me. Yeah, it stole the show to me. Yeah, it was really funny. So there were some crazy cameos. Cheech was in it. Not Cheech, Chong, Tommy Chong. That was pretty funny.
Was Tommy Chong in it?
Yeah, Tommy Chong was in it. The one who plays Silent Bob or Blunt Man last time was Vander Beek and Jason Biggs. I'm gonna say it is. Is that right? Yeah, those two. They're back in it, but they don't play the characters in this reboot. The guy that unmasks himself to play Blunt Man, I'm not even gonna say and spoil it. That was like mind blowing.
Really?
That was fucking mind blowing. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But yes, it's a love letter. If you're a big fan, you're gonna at least enjoy it.
Okay.
It's not gonna blow you away. It's not like Mallrats funny or even Dogma make you really think about some things.
Dogma was incredible.
Dogma was incredible. Yeah.
You know what I love about Kevin Smith is the way he would cast George Carlin
Oh yeah,
in some of those movies. I mean, man, I just every time I was just always a big fan of George Carlin.
yeah. George Carlin's
I
great.
mean, George Carlin,
Absolutely.
for my money, one of the most intelligent, just thought-provoking comics ever.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you can't. No, he's
When he had one of
guy.
his shows pop up on HBO, there was something new. I mean, I made time. I was like, okay, look. I was like, Dad, I gotta watch this. He's like, well, I don't know if your mom will let you watch it. I'm like, dude, I gotta watch it. He goes, yeah, you can watch it.
Yeah.
And George Carlin was he was fucking brilliant, dude.
yeah, he's a man who can talk. He uses comedy to speak in layman's terms
Yes.
to the stupidity of the world.
Yes.
and it's that's all that is brilliant.
No, nothing was off limits, and he just spoke the truth, and
Yeah.
it was all. I mean, it was vulgar. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
George Carlin
Yeah.
did not like
Yeah.
he didn't hold anything back. He went
Not
all
at
out.
all.
But I used to love how because he was who was he? He was a priest in Dogma, wasn't he?
He was he was
he
he was Cardinal Glick. He was Cardinal Glick.
And then he was in one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies
Buddy
where he
Jesus.
where he was blowing
Buddy Christ.
blowing a truck driver to get a ride.
Yeah, he was a homeless guy in Jan Silent Bob Strikes Back. Yeah, he's the unwritten book of the road. I'll take a shot in the mouth. It'll get me a few miles. Yeah, you remember that shit? Yeah,
oh my
good stuff.
god, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Dogma was great.
Dogma's very good.
Dogma was
awesome.
really, really good. Kevin Smith movies, I can watch them all the time. I can watch all the Kevin Smith. You know, I like chasing. The only one I didn't care for was the one with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan.
Cop
Out.
He talks about that a lot.
Dude, did you ever see Kevin Smith's where he basically threw Bruce Willis under the bus?
Absolutely. He still does it.
Dude,
I
after I watched that,
Zack and Mary's pretty dope.
Zach
yeah.
and Miri, we actually just watched it about a month
That's
or two
a good
ago.
fucking movie,
Dude,
too.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell you right now. Justin Long, one of the top 3 cameos ever in a movie.
Well, for the record, which is ironic too. Speaking of this, he did Kevin did a Q&A after the reboot, and Zack and Miri and his View Askew universe are now kind of connected without saying it.
Really?
Which is really interesting because of Justin Long.
Dude, but seriously, when Justin Long shows up in Zack and Miri, that is one of the you can tell there's a couple of scenes where he's trying to keep his shit together.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Brandon, Brandon was the guy who played Superman.
Oh yeah.
Brandon Ruth, was it Brandon Ruth or something like that? But dude, the scene with him and Justin Long is comedy gold. That is seriously that is one of the Brandon Ruth. Yeah, that was one of the funniest cameos ever. The other one of the funniest cameos I've ever seen was Kevin Hart in 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he shows up at the.
Oh God. I haven't seen that's a good one too.
Dude, that scene is just brilliant. But Justin Long was incredible in Zack and Miri. But I mean, I love all Kevin Smith's movies. And then even Cop Out came out, and that's the thing that bummed me out about Cop Out, dude, is just that story he told about Bruce Willis. Dude, through the 80s and 90s, there was Harrison Ford, there was Tom Hanks, there was Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Bill Murray was in there as well. But Bruce Willis was the
They're
action
like those
guy.
blue collar action guys.
Yeah.
Guys,
He's,
right?
he's John McClane.
Yeah.
He's John McClane, the everyday guy stuck in a bad situation. He saves everybody.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
And then you hear that story from Kevin Smith, and you're just like, fucking don't like this dude anymore. And then as soon as I hear that, Bruce Willis turns into Nicolas Cage on Netflix, and just every month there's some horse shit movie comes out where Bruce Willis is at the beginning, somewhere in the middle, and at the end, he's top billed. You're just like, your movies suck, bro. His movies are terrible now.
He's one of those people that you've heard and seen some good as far as being a celeb or to people. Yeah. But it seems like now that you hear more now that he is kind of an a-hole.
Yeah, and it's just, dude, that seriously bums me out, man, because I love Bruce Willis. But it was the shit, Pikachu. I used to have a crush on Bruce Willis. I was like, this guy, he was my man crush. I was like, I want to be like Bruce Willis when I get older. I want to be like Bruce Willis.
Gonna be John McClane.
And then you hear that story about how he was like talking to somebody. He was talking to Kevin Smith walking, and somebody was like, "Yeah, Die Hard, drove by," and he goes, and he told Kevin Smith or somebody else who he was with. He goes, "Those are the worst ones. Those are your fucking fans, you moron.
Yeah.
Those are the people that show up every time." Fifth Element. Yes, Pikachu's right. Fifth Element is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Fifth Element is an incredible movie.
That's probably my favorite Bruce Willis.
But
I also love the original Unbreakable though too.
Oh, Unbreakable's awesome.
The original Unbreakable.
Like I said, man, he used to be the shit.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
Now he just turned into a dick. So I miss him. But I'm glad you no, there's no way I can go see Jay and Silent Bob the reboot of the theater, right? It's already moved on from Michigan.
Right, but from what I understand, I think you'll be able to catch it in like iTunes and different stuff from like either buy or download or
it's available there now already.
I don't know if now, but eventually that's the plan. Like you'll just be able to directly like whatever. Kind of like how they did that whole shit with Seth Rogen and James Franco with that
the
Korean one.
The interview,
which was funny as shit.
I actually thought that was really good.
I really liked it.
I thought it was really
they
really
had
funny.
to directly release it because they were
then Sony got hacked or something, and then the video was out everywhere, and it got something goofy happened.
Your leader was upset about it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, whatever. No, yeah, I thought it was actually kind of funny. So, but no, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Now, Clerks 3 is a thing now, right?
Yeah. So that's the new cool news about the whole thing. Is that Jeff and Kev have made up, kind of like him and Ben did, because Ben, again, the whole stuff within Reboot, Ben kind of brings everything full circle like Banky typically does. Or no, Holden McNeil. Excuse me, Holden. He's got so many characters. But yes, Clerks 3 is back on, and I always tell the funny story about a couple years ago when I just happened to be on Facebook late one night, and it was like 2 or 3 in the morning or something crazy, and Kevin Smith posted, and he's like, I just woke up out of a dead sleep and started typing this, and it said Clerks 3. And it's been ever since then. I've been nice. I'll never forget seeing that white page and him typing that by Kevin Smith, and be like, man, where's the next Clerks, right? Because Clerks 2 is also polarizing for some people too, but now they're made up, and hopefully looks like we're greenlit. Not hopefully, we're greenlit on Clerks 3. So awesome.
That's awesome. Did you like Clerks 2?
I did like Clerks 2.
I thought Clerks 2 was really funny.
Clerks 2 definitely had more of the Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back, and definitely a lot less Clerks, but I think Clerks is just going to be his opus. And I mean, that's just it.
Like you said, it's his opus, but I also feel like it's the one movie that out of all of them that seems like it's very something he was very passionate about. It's black and white. It's a cheap budget, but it works. It was a low budget. Right. It was an independent film, very independent film. I mean, this thing was but it was just so good. Like there are some scenes in that movie, man. Honest to God, like the whole scene where he's talking about the contractor working on some Bambino guy's house, and he compares it to
equated to the stormtroopers on the Death Star.
That is seriously one of my favorite.
Yeah, man, Salsa Shark.
Yeah, Salsa Shark, dude, and gotta get a bigger boat. But no, like that whole scene with comparing it to the stormtrooper or the people working on the Death Star, I was like, that's fucking just great writing. It's so good. Like there's just so many lines in the movie that are so good, and I absolutely love it. So, Julie's gum.
Julie's Gum. So funny, as I'm actually friends with Scott Shafeo, who plays Julie's Gum Sailor on Facebook, and Marilyn Gigliotti, who plays, I think I said that right.
Caitlin?
Who plays his
ex? Didn't one of them pass away in real life?
Lisa passed away.
Lisa.
That was the main one, Caitlin, I believe. That he loved. She passed away. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook randomly too, and like Ernie O'Dowell, who's Rick Darris.
Rick Darris.
Like, these dudes are all cool. Like you're friends with them, and they'll say happy birthday on your birthday, and you'll chat with them once in a while, and they'll chat back with you. It's really cool. And I just actually recently was chatting with both Marilyn and Scott after seeing Reboot. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I want to check it out. I want to see it, and I'm glad Clerks 3 is a thing because I really like Clerks 2. I mean, it was just I just like Kevin Smith, especially when he does his interviews and stuff. The guy is just
he's a hype guy.
He's humble. He's fun. He's down to earth, and I love his work, and I think he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and so yeah, really hyped about that. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about tonight is man, I'm telling you, this is a hot topic, and people are piling on.
Yeah,
there is like all of a sudden this line drawn in Hollywood between like esteemed directors, older directors, people that have been in the business for a long time, and kind of the up and coming directors and people who are carrying the Marvel mantle. But we're going to talk about Marvel versus Ford and Scorsese.
I like to say Marvel versus the old guys.
Marvel versus the old guys. Yes. Now, easy, Prime. Easy. Hold on. Slow. I know it's past your bedtime. Slow down. Okay, we're gonna talk about this.
Crunk.
What's up, Crunk? How you doing tonight? Crunk's in the chat. Appreciate you guys stopping by. But yeah, let's talk about this, dude. I mean, here's what we got. Actually, go ahead. I'm gonna grab the quote, but go ahead and kind of tell me what we're gonna talk about.
Sure. So, recently, big directors like Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola have said that they basically think that Marvel movies are trash and no one should go see them. They're not cinema, et cetera, et cetera. They've just been interview after interview just keeps getting, there's I can't think of the guy's name that actually just jumped on board this week too, to hang out in their
the French guy or whatever, the UK guy,
British guy, I believe. Jumped on. So now you got people drawing lines, and you had Bob Iger finally coming out today.
Yeah, Bob Iger came out swinging.
Yep, he come out with something to say about it today too, and and there's people, of course, actors from the movies, I think, are starting to get in their comments.
Yep, Sam Jackson actually got involved in the conversation.
Did he? I didn't see that.
Sam
Okay.
Jackson got in there. But this started probably back at the beginning of the month. I think it was about October 4th or something like that, somewhere close to the beginning of October. But Martin Scorsese had this to say in an interview. I don't see them. He's talking about these Marvel movies. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. End quote. First of all, what the fuck are you talking about, Martin? No, here's the thing. Okay, first and foremost, big fan of Martin Scorsese.
Absolutely.
Okay, the guy has a proven record.
Right.
He is a made man. As much as his movies talk about made men, Martin Scorsese is a made man in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. He
absolutely.
If Martin Scorsese wants to say your movie's dog shit, Martin Scorsese can say your movie's dog shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't mean it's dog shit, but it's obviously not the glowing endorsement that you want from an icon like Martin Scorsese. Francis Ford Coppola, pretty made guy in Hollywood. These guys know how to make movies.
These guys make great movies.
But at the same time, this is kind of a get off my lawn type situation. Okay, now look. Whatever Martin Scorsese's talking about, a psychological doodah versus a psychological human being and whatnot, whatever. All I know is when I go to these movies, these Marvel movies, I see great acting. I see emotions between characters. I see the struggle that superheroes deal with. We talked about it before the show.
Right.
There is these characters are all based around trauma. They're all created through some form of trauma. And if that isn't psychological, if that isn't emotional, I don't know what is.
Right.
And I don't know what Martin Scorsese is saying. I mean, are they theme park rides? I could see that.
Time out.
Uh-oh.
Did he not just say in that quote he doesn't even see him?
Doesn't even see
him. What the fuck is he commenting on it then?
He's Martin Scorsese.
Okay, but that's my point. But like, if I was just go off and start saying shit about something that I do or don't like, and I haven't even, like, say if it's a game, like say for instance, Friday comes and everybody's talking how great Call of Duty is, and I'm sitting trashing it, but I haven't even played it. Kind of look like an a-hole too, though.
Right, and I mean, I don't. Maybe he did see it. Who knows? I mean, you can't. That's a good point. You can't really make that comment unless you go see it.
I can't, but maybe Martin Scorsese can, and I understand that. But come on.
I guess, yeah, maybe Martin's get. But I mean, to say these movies are theme rides, sure. Most of them turn into theme rides after they come out. I mean, there's all
that's true.
Disney turns them into a theme ride.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they're exciting. They're fun. Yeah. I go to these movies. I don't go to an Avengers movie or any Marvel movie and expect an Oscar-written
absolutely
story.
Not.
At all.
I know what I'm getting.
I know what I'm walking into. I'm walking into characters that I'm invested in over the last 23 movies. Right. I'm there to watch good acting because they bring in the best actors. These are really good actors and actresses. So I'm there to see that, and I'm there to be entertained for 2.5 hours.
And let's not mention that a lot of these older actors that have won big awards, and they're coming in their twilight and the end of their acting career. Where are you finding them ending up now?
Marvel movies, baby.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean you've had Annette Bening, you got Sam Jackson. You got Robert Downey Jr. Kate Blanchett. I mean, you've got a lot of people that have hardware acting in these movies.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, Martin Scorsese, next month, The Irishman's going to release.
It's going to be awesome.
This movie has reviewed incredibly well.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Incredibly well. We've got Oscar buzz around Robert De Niro in that movie. You got Oscar buzz around Joe Pesci in that movie. Look, Martin Scorsese makes great fucking movies.
Absolutely.
Okay? Makes great movies. But this, to sit there and kind of like just announce these games or make them sound like less than what they are, I understand why people like Sam Jackson or Bob Iger come out and say, are you saying these movies are trash? Or are you saying the people that work on them and all that stuff aren't that good? Because there's a lot of people that are working on these movies. People that do special effects, people that do props, people that build the sets, people that, the actors, everybody. There's a lot of people involved. And to sit there and say, this isn't cinema, these people are making movies for the cinema.
The problem is that there, comes from being the old school. Like, I know people sometimes have an issue swallowing the Disney pill, and I get that. But Disney has found a formula that works as far as how they tell their stories. And again, they took 10, 11 years to build an entire arc of stories and intertwine stuff. So that's a pretty big deal, regardless of how you look at it. But they want everything to kind of be in a kind of a box, kind of a, here's how we want it maybe or whatever. But it doesn't mean when they get in there that they all of a sudden lose all their creative juices though either. I mean, kind of Kiki, did I say that right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, look what he did with Thor, and that's decisive sometimes amongst people because it's not Thor from the comics, but it's Thor in the MCU, and you can't separate the two. You need to do something about that, right? You need to separate yourself. I'm a big comic book fan. Growing up on comics, when I was reading comics, all I ever could think of was, man, wouldn't it be awesome if you could see these on the big screen, or if this was real life or something, right? And so as a big man adult or man baby or whatever you want to call it, man adult, like I'm still in love with them. I still want to go see them. I enjoy them. I want to be excited, and I'll go see other slower, quieter movies, or watch something like Drive from 2011 and just kind of take in some really good writing and really good directing and characters and stuff like that. But then there's times I'm going to go and pay and see, like, I want to watch a movie like, Infinity War or something like that, and big colorful guys fight other big colorful guys and girls and stuff like that. So, it's you have to separate yourself from some of this stuff. They're fantasy stories. I mean, comics have been around for longer than some of these types of, for a long time. So, matter of fact, I think comics even came from manga from Japan originally.
Right.
I think that's where the inspiration came from, like hundreds of years ago, some stuff. But I could be wrong, but that's fine too.
What was Drive again?
Drive was with Ryan
Gosling.
Yes, 2011.
And that's the one where Albert Brooks is kind of a badass. He's the boss and
Ron Perlman and shit.
Yeah.
It's one of the best soundtracks of any movie.
Albert
in the last
Brooks
decade or so.
is Nemo's dad in Finding Nemo. That's who Albert Brooks is. But
yeah.
he's a badass.
Oh
Drive,
no, that movie was actually Turtle there is the one that made me watch that. That was an amazing. Yeah, I'm like,
Drive is sweet.
I watched that's another movie.
It's got a sweet ass soundtrack.
That's another movie I watch every year. I love that movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's basically a spaghetti western told in modern stories.
Exactly. There you go.
It's pretty awesome. But yes, the Marvel whole it's unfortunate that we have to do this, I think, because if you just got to be able to step back and look at it, that things are just going to be pure for entertainment, and there's a lot of people that are casual moviegoers. I mean, the Fast and the Furious movies, I don't watch them, but you know what? They rate really good with people that go to the movies, and that's why they keep making them.
Right.
Does that make them any? Well, maybe.
I saw the first Fast and Furious, and I couldn't get into it.
See, I love that.
And here's the thing. I skipped a bunch of them. And then when I started seeing the reviews start doing like the same thing Mission Impossible has done, like the reviews keep getting, I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And then I went and saw the one where Paul Walker had died prior to it coming out. And I watched it, and I was like, this is like fucking Looney Tunes. Like, this is like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. And I was like, okay, I don't get it.
But, and I almost wonder if that's where this whole line being drawn is coming from.
That's a great point.
Is that okay, Marvel movies are basically big action cartoons, but that's fine. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy them.
Right.
That doesn't mean they're not cinema.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to have a director in there that still has to have a vision, or whatever, bring stuff together, whether it's a certain shot or whatnot. You can't just discredit them just because you don't care or like them, or they're not in your lane. Like,
right.
Who does that, right?
Well, I can tell you who does that. Now, first of all, we heard from Scorsese. Let's talk about Francis.
Oh yeah.
So here's Francis' comment. I don't know that anyone gets anything out of seeing the same movie over and over again. Martin was kind when he said it's not cinema. He didn't say it's despicable, which I just say it is. Despicable?
Right.
All right, now look, Francis. Let's slow your roll. Okay, Martin is still relevant. He's got Irishman coming out. Now I think you're just trying to get in on the beatdown, and you're trying to get your shots in. These are not despicable movies. Okay, this is not Battlefield Earth. This is not Matrix Revolutions.
I knew you were gonna do it.
These are really well done movies. So despicable is a bit harsh. I feel like Francis might have overstepped his bounds there. As good of a director as he is, despicable is reserved for certain movies. And I just, that one I don't get. But at the end of the day, dude, look, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, these guys are, and Jon Favreau, I love what he said. This is it right here. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if they didn't carve the way. They can express whatever opinion they like, and that's what they're doing. These are just two different directors from a totally different time. they came up through the 60s, the 70s, and 80s when they were at their prime, and they didn't have the big special effects that they have now. They didn't have all that stuff. They had to work within the realism of the world, practical effects. They didn't have all the big stuff to make those movies, so they couldn't make the theme park ride. But that's why I kind of respect it, because they were more revolved around writing. They were more revolved around the acting and the psychological interactions between characters. That's where I think they're getting that from.
They're also not telling a Thor and Captain America stories.
Exactly, because they probably couldn't back then. Not to an effective degree as you can now.
Sure.
Not to the scale that you can now. But these guys were more big into the character development and it's a totally different style movie.
Do they have a problem? Like, for instance, would they go see Joker? Not an MCU. I mean, Joker's definitely not like any other comic movie out there currently.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what I want to know if they watched that and what would their thoughts be on that one.
That's interesting. I would like to hear that
because that's not Civil War.
As we know, Todd Phillips is not. Well, he was never mentioned in the same breath as a Francis Ford Coppola.
Right. But I'm just saying.
I mean, you got Joaquin Phoenix, who's obviously an established actor who, that you could mention along the likes of Martin Scorsese in the world of cinema in terms of Hardware 1 and whatnot.
And all I'll say, I guess, for me at the end, and like if you got some more thoughts on it too, is just basically when you're saying something like despicable. Cast members of like Godfather aren't walking into hospitals for sick kids
exactly
and making them happy. But you know what's happening?
Yep.
Captain America, Chris Evans, or these guys will walk into a hospital and make kids happy. So I think that you got to kind of consider where you're going with that whole thing with despicable. Nah, man, like it's just not your thing. That's fine. You don't have to like it.
Yeah. And see, and I think that's what Sam Jackson is saying and all these other actors are saying. You're forgetting about everybody that's involved.
Right.
Yeah, you don't like the movies themselves. Cool. You can say whatever you want, but don't say it's not cinema, or don't say that it's despicable, because, like you said, Robert Downey Jr., all these other actors and actresses are going into these hospitals. They're going out and doing stuff for their communities. Like you said, you don't see people like from Godfather and all that stuff doing all that. No, you don't, and that's why you have to appreciate they're all using their cash from being in these movies to go out and do good things. So you can't say it's despicable.
I mean, is it the cinema part of it? Or is it the fact that they don't get that money? Because Marvel, I mean, they're printing money.
Oh yeah.
Is that is it sour grapes? Is what's going on here?
I don't even know. I don't even know if it's sour grapes. I just think it's like Prime mentioned earlier. The medium was too limited back then. I think they're just maybe envious of not being able to be a part of this big movement, this big, the spectacle movie.
It seems weird to think of these guys being envious.
I mean, if you look at all
money
their
is money,
maybe not so much money they made, but how much money their movies made. Because none of the Goodfellas and Godfather, none of them made a cent compared. I mean, they made money, but they ain't doing what Marvel's doing. So I mean, and maybe they're bummed because at the end of the day, when you see the top 20 grossing movies of all times, you're never going to see a Francis Ford Coppola movie. You're never going to see a Martin Scorsese movie mentioned in those lists.
Art is subjective, and that's all what it is. It's about art. Like you can't some people might not really like Picasso's art. It's still art. You don't have to like it. But I mean, there's still that vision that people have and put into it.
And Turtle says, they have a hard time getting work in Hollywood, and that might be the case. Maybe it might be tougher. I mean, older actors have a hard time finding work. Older directors. I mean, Irishman, that's releasing on Netflix. This isn't. I mean, it's going to be in theaters, but I mean, it's, and that's where I think movies like Scorsese used to make back in the day that are more, I don't want to say talky, but a little bit more character driven as opposed to spectacle and whatnot. It's better for that type of thing. But I was trying to say, I had something I was going to say that he mentioned. It was a great point that he made. But yeah, it's just hard for these guys to find the work to make these movies. And it's difficult for them because they're older. They're older guys. But at the same time, you look at Mad Max. George Miller is like, I don't know how. George Miller is like 70 years old. So he can go out and make a big spectacle of a movie. So maybe Scorsese should just be, hey, look, man, I want to go make Superman. I want to reboot Superman.
Yeah.
Let Scorsese go out and reboot Superman.
Right, why not?
But yeah, no, it's a goofy conversation. We saw somebody earlier today from Britain go out, He's big over in Britain. He makes some European movies. I think he's won some awards. He came out and just kind of added to it. But then you got Bob Iger. We saw Jon Favreau come in. I believe James Gunn was
the first one to step forward and say something.
He was kind of harsh.
Yeah.
I don't think James Gunn gives a fuck about where Scorsese.
He don't give a fuck about anything.
No. James Gunn came out. I think James Gunn came out swinging. But Bob Iger, I mean, it's just a conversation that's going to go on. And, I don't want to say Scorsese and Ken Loach. I don't want to say Scorsese and Coppola are playing themselves out of Hollywood. I think they're pretty much kind of doing that as, time goes on. They're looking for younger directors, people that can do stuff. Scorsese will still find work. Irishman, obviously, he can still direct. But, yeah, I just think this is just the old guy throwing his comments out there.
It's like that meme I shared on Facebook of the two old guy Muppets that sit up in the thing, just sitting there,
that's
and cussing
exactly
on the show. It's the perfect.
Yep.
For me on that.
That's who they are.
Look at it.
Yeah, they're just like, get off my lawn, kids.
Yeah, right. I
don't want none of that shit around here. No,
exactly.
It's a bum situation, but I think you and I both understand. Like, look, Francis and Martin, they're made men.
Hey, I'm gonna be watching Irishman as soon as.
Oh hell yeah!
So
I'm not gonna be like, fuck Francis or fuck Martin Scorsese. No, I'll be watching the Irishman. I want to watch that. So, but no, that was some big news. That's really, and I don't think that's gonna stop. I think that's something that's going to
keep going for a minute.
Going for a
Everybody
while.
wants to get their 2 cents in on it.
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna
Waldorf
chime
and
in.
Staller,
Waldorf and Staller. There you go. Prime knows. He's old. He's got it. Prime. He's
Scorsese old.
He's old as fuck. Older directors goofing on new films is a tradition. Yeah, that's telling me it's like they're saying kids these days. That's what Scorsese's basically saying. Yeah, these kids these days, they don't know shit. So, but no, lots of good stuff. There was a lot of good stuff to talk about. But I want to know what you've been playing lately, man.
So honestly, I haven't a lot in the whole last week or so because of the getting down with the sickness. Honestly, as recent of Saturday was the last time I played a game was to Recon. I know we talked about Recon last time, and I got to tell you, even though it's still buggy, I don't know if they've patched up this week because I've been gone from all gaming pretty much, but I can't stop fucking playing this goddamn game. I can't stop. And I will say the one thing that makes me mad is like, unlike something like Metal Gear, you're trying to play something stealthy, unlike Prime Gaming, is when you're trying to go into a town or something, and you're like, got everybody marked, you got everybody checked out, you ping somebody, and you shoot them, and somehow like, unlike in Metal Gear, like you could take out a few people. The proximity in Recon, it's like all of a sudden the whole fucking thing lights up. How in the fuck they hear? Like, come on.
I know.
Like, come on. You really discovered it that fast, and the whole entire thing, like, there's no like slow chain reaction. Like, and there's sometimes not even reading. It just all of a sudden it just happens, and you're like, what the fuck? So yes, I'm still hooked on Recon. I want to get that at least mostly done. It's gonna be another background game like Kings of Amulet.
Yep.
I see there's going to have a longevity of this game because Division 2 is more like a flash in the pan, whereas Recon's more a longevity for me.
Yep.
And I want to get as much as I can done before Death Stranding comes out in a couple weeks.
Yep. Yeah,
that's my big one because then I got Jedi coming out.
Jedi 2 weeks after that.
Which I think is going to be a sleeper hit.
You think Jedi will be?
I think it is.
I hope so. I hope Respawn gets that. They need a hit.
I think
Titanfall 2 was incredible, and it just didn't hit the numbers.
Didn't get the love it needed. Shame on EA on that.
I think they're in good position this year because you got Rise of the Skywalker coming. I mean, the Star Wars buzz. You got. I mean, Mandalorian is it Mandalorian?
Drunk, fuck off. Yeah, Mandalorian. We've had this discussion about Death
Stranding.
Oh, we had a back and forth a couple weeks ago on this one.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was live, but
get him going, Crunk. Get him going.
No, don't.
Get him going, Crunk.
Crunk pissed. Crunk can't handle things.
I'm gonna watch that chat now. If Crunk gets going, I'm gonna let you know.
Crunk's being another Martin Scorsese right now. He can't handle the thought provocation. Whatever it is, but yeah, I think Jedi's got a chance to be a big hit too. Honestly,
yeah, because I mean, is it Mandalorian? Is that what it's called?
Yes, Mandalorian. Mandalorian comes out mid-November 20 something.
So you're gonna have a lot of hype around. I mean, dude, this is how it is every time a Star Wars movie comes out. Dude, the buzz is there. Yeah. The interest is there. Everyone's a Star Wars fan, whether they're a longtime fan or just at that time. Jedi is looking good. That's in a great position, especially now that we know Doom is out of the way. Now they've got like the end of November all to themselves,
pretty
basically.
Much.
So that's a pretty good spot to be in. Yeah. Obviously near Thanksgiving, Black Friday. It's going to be Jedi. You're going to have the talk of Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker next month, the month after it. That's in a good position. This is going to be the game that Respawn really. Obviously, Respawn did Apex Legends, so they're not hurting too bad.
No, yeah, they're doing just fine.
So they're doing okay there. But in terms of a full retail release, they're in a good position with the Jedi. So, but no, that's awesome, dude.
What are you doing?
I'm playing Fortnite.
Yeah, I know you are.
I know.
Watched you,
dude.
I lurked on you.
I sit there for since that game launched, I have trashed it. Not because it sucks, because I suck.
You suck, right?
I can't build for shit. I can't do it. I tried playing the other night. Sweet Muffin hopped in with me. She gave me a crash course on building. I was like, you know what? I get it. 5 minutes later, I'm not fucking building anything. I'm not building a thing. I'm just, dude, it's a third-person shooter. I'm immediately thinking, SOCOM, I'm going to be stealthy. I grab the guns, I kill people that are nearby, and I move on and I run around.
And you can be in those games.
Is she playing right now? Of course she is. I should hop on and play with her and get another dub because we got a dub in duos.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But no, it's, dude, I figured now is the time. I like Battle Royale in general. I love the Battle Royale genre. I love the idea. I think it is a lot of fun. I think it's I like games that are sweaty. I like games that require some thought into it. I like games that are very competitive, even though I'll lose my shit. I like Battle Royale. I think it's a cool concept. And I don't like sucking at a game that everybody seems to be good at. Pisses me off. Puts me in a Scorsese type of mode.
Sure.
I'm always like, man, these fucking kids in their building. It's stupid.
Right.
Hopped on. I was like, okay, look, there's a new map. Everything's new.
Brilliant how they did that.
Oh,
Talking
dude.
about it too.
The whole thing tonight.
Everything I thought was cool.
Was one of the coolest things I've ever seen happen in a video game.
In recent gaming times, that was pretty fucking smart.
And that was before I got this new refound interest in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. I just watched that thing as I hated it, Fortnite, and I watched it, I was like, that was incredible. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen them do to kind of like take a game offline. Everyone's playing and everyone sees this same event where this meteor comes from the sky and it sucks the entire map and then goes offline. That's ballsy.
That's very ballsy.
You take ballsy. The biggest game in the world, arguably the biggest game in the world, and you have it just get completely wiped out and taken offline for 2 days.
That's ballsy.
Epic has got some fucking balls, dude. So I thought that was really, really cool. It was a sweet premiere. And then I was like, you know what? Look, I was talking to Crow in the chat. Crow was talking about how he's going to be getting back into it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to. I've gotten back into it. Still can't build for shit, but I'm constantly top 10 finishes. I'll drop into a hot zone, get a couple kills, grab a bunch of weapons and shields, and kind of just stealth my way to the middle of the circle.
And you can kind of.
Yeah. Oh, dude, stealth is a legitimate,
they
viable
said this
strategy.
Version of the game now is meant for more even that kind of game style.
Oh, dude, it absolutely is.
Reading.
It absolutely is. Stealth is a totally viable option, and that's how I kind of keep myself in the game. I can't build. No. But if they don't know where I'm at, and I let them kind of run around, and they jump outside of their building, I have to plan my strikes a little bit better because once they start building, I will seriously be like a kid. I'll just drop my gun and just like, wow, just watch them build, watch them build Westeros all around me. I'm just like, I can't fucking do anything with these people, and I die immediately. But I appreciate. I trashed it a lot, but I appreciate the skill that goes into being really, really good at Fortnite because it does take skill to be good at it. The way watch these people build stuff, it really is awe. You're just like, wow, that is incredible. I wish I could do that. But get in there, bunch of top 10 finishes, a couple finishes at number 2. I think I can hang out, even though I don't build for shit. I don't build at all. All. I like it. Fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I've been watching it ever since Ninja came to Mixer. And there's a couple people that I watch. See the Dead, somebody I can think of that I've watched play Fortnite here and there, and like Gene Rex and a couple of these people. Mm-hmm. Sweet Muffin, of course. Ninja came to the Mixer, and I found myself once in a while just kind of curious how a streamer like that operates, right?
Yep.
I watch it, and then more and more, so I find myself watching it. Like, it's not something I'll probably ever play. Like, I play a little Realm Royale, which is similar, but also way different. I really kind of like that. I'm just not good at it either.
Right.
It's Battle Royale. I don't play them. I like Apex a lot. I'm just terrible at them, but I respect them. I enjoy them. I'm fine with them existing.
Right.
I'm just not good at them. They're cool. Apex is fun to watch. I'll watch Ren, Crow.
Oh yeah.
Any of the Tater Tot boys. A lot of Tater Tot boys play that.
A lot of them do
all the time. It's a great game to watch. It's exciting to watch. In Fortnite, to me, the more I've been able to watch it and stuff like that, I have more respect for it and stuff like that too. And I enjoy watching it. It's fun.
The mechanics are sound. The mechanics are sound in that game. It's just it's a tough game to wrap your head around, especially if you're an old guy like me.
Yeah.
And you're the third person shooters you play don't have fucking buildings all around you and walls and stuff. And it's just something I'm gonna eventually have to learn. If I want to be taken serious at the game, if I want to have a legitimate shot every time, I'm going to have to develop some kind of building skills. But in the meantime, stealth is a viable option. If you're not big on building, just be smart with your shots. Be smart with your shots. Use cover, hide in bushes, and you can make it. You can get there. So it's a lot of fun. Been really digging that. But yeah, tomorrow night it's all Call of Duty. I'll be all Call of Duty tomorrow night, probably Friday night, and see where that takes me.
I just feel like I'm so behind on Recon. I can't put anything else on my plate. I would like to check it out. I still may. We'll see. But man, I can't. That Recon, it's that third-person shooting when you can tactical shoot, man.
It's good, but like you said, I think my issue with Ghost Recon is just how easy it is to get taken out of your stealth in kind of unfair ways. How they see.
Oh yeah,
you.
There's a lot of.
See, dude, that's how I play. Is stealthy. I don't like guns blazing.
Yeah, me either.
And when I can't be stealthy 100% of the time due to some bugs, that it kills me, dude. It kills me.
What I've noticed with Recon on that, real simple, is that, and this is where it's hard for me, is that, and I'm not saying this is your issue, it's patience, because you really have to dial back like you're playing like old school MGS and be like, you have to take your time and surgically plant everything, or how if you want to sneak into something, you really got to take your time to it.
Yeah.
And 50% of the time, you're gonna get fucked, because guess what? You thought you had a sweet shot lined up, ting, you just hit metal here. Fuck.
Yeah.
And that just all of a sudden everything lights up.
Everyone
so
knows.
it really is about the patience, and it's hard to get in there with that CQC. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But you take out the snipers, and then I don't know.
Those drones. Those drones can be a pain in the ass, dude. I had to like gear up my my sniper rifle so it does extra damage against drones.
Yeah.
And I can usually one shot them now, but even then,
if one falls near somebody, they're gonna hear it. And all of a sudden, it's a whole fuck. Yeah, the game.
It's really hard to eliminate the drones and not let everyone
for
know.
A game that wants you to play stealthy, or at least allows you. They definitely don't. They don't help you.
And I don't know if
that's
maybe,
fine.
I don't know if maybe I haven't like explored the tree much. I don't know if there's a way to hack the drones. There should be, because I feel that would tie into the stealth elements. I don't think there is either, but that'd be cool if there's a way you could hack the drones. I mean, make it difficult, make it hard. It's not easy to do, but I just feel like if you eliminate a drone, there's no way to not get noticed.
There's some missions.
Strange.
There's some side missions that
EMPs. He's not wrong. EMPs. I didn't try using an EMP.
They want you to sneak in and do the shit, and it's like, and that's the whole mission.
Yeah.
And you could get like 3 people dead, and you got 4 or 5 to the path you need to get to, and you could fuck up a shot.
Yeah.
Bam, you're starting all over again. And you got to reload the entire fucking map. That I don't get. The mission, to start the mission, you got to reload the map.
The whole map, yeah.
It's
bizarre.
It is.
I mean, that's just stuff that have to deal with. There is an ability that gives you a mini drone that takes baddies out. I did see that, Prime. I did see that. But I want to be able to get rid of the drones that are in the area stealthily. You can eliminate everything else with stealth. You can eliminate everything else with stealth except for the drones. I feel like there should be a way to either hack them or do something to, or where you can't be detected by them at all.
If you take out all the people, all the security.
Well, now isn't there a guy that controls the drones? If you take him out, do the drones go out?
I don't know.
Prime, that's a question I like. No, there is a guy that controls the drones, EMP, and then a silenced weapon. Huh?
I mean, I use silence for everything, but like you drop a drone and something. I mean, the EMP is good, but yeah, I think there's more to the stealth thing that we got to look at to try and get better at it. I really do. When one is not playing with Prime, but
you can't do anything stealth with Prime. It's fucking Rambo. There's no tact at all.
Yeah.
It's just
first blood.
Yeah. He's like Weird Al Yankovic in UHF, where he's standing there. He's like yeah. Man, what a great movie. I love UHF.
Years.
UHF is amazing.
Been a long time.
UHF is an incredible movie.
I was a kid.
Jump from the chopper and layaways. Yeah, that's Prime.
That's Prime.
Yeah. As he's the pilot, and then I'm sitting there going, why are we crashing? Conan the Librarian. Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
Oh my God.
Such a great movie. But that's going to do it for this week's show, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
We had a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Seriously, appreciate everybody in the chat. Prime Gaming. We had Crunk. We had Pikachu. Zombie was in there. Clad Crow was in there. Turtle was in there. Cappadocian was in there. Presto Almighty was in there. And our buddy Ninja, our friend Ninja that came in here.
Fox.
Yep, Ren Fox was there. Ninja, we want you around. So make sure you always talk or call if you need someone to talk to, man. We always support you. We got you covered. But seriously, thank you guys and girls so much. We appreciate you guys stopping by. 2 weeks, we'll be back. We'll have a lot to talk about.
it November 3rd?
November
6th.
6th, because it's 2 days before Death Stranding.
That's right.
2 days before Death Stranding.
Yes.
So we'll talk about a little preview
Of maybe
of
what
that.
that's gonna look up. Yep.
Get some Death Stranding talk. Hey, dude, you up for D2 this weekend? Dude, I'm always up for D2. I'll be up for some D2 this weekend. I'll look for you, man. Hey, today I am officially this week no longer working Saturdays.
That's right.
Yay me. Monday
for
through
you.
Friday, baby. Monday
Good
through
for
Friday.
you.
Weekends are wide open. I'm gonna be a little more
Opposite for
social,
me.
going out
Yeah,
for the
good
wife
for
and
you.
stuff, but
Yeah, good for you.
I'll be down to
Awesome.
do some gaming on Destiny 2 with you, Presto. I got you covered, man. But yeah, that's gonna do it. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't forget now. New news. I don't know if we talked about it yet, but you can find this now if you didn't catch this live.
Ooh.
Which, if you're catching it live, it's kind of a paradox to say that you
Mhm.
didn't. Of course, this will be up on YouTube, the Facebook page here in the next couple
Yes.
days. But now you can find Banter and Babble on Spotify as well within the next few days. So if people miss the episode, share it with all your friends. They can also listen to it on the go.
Yeah, if you can't watch it at home, you can't watch it on your TV, or if you can't watch it on your phone, you can listen to it.
You can listen to it.
Spotify, baby. Banter and Babble. All those. Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. Those videos will be live on Friday. They'll be up and going on Friday, so you'll be able to check them out there. Make sure you tell your friends. Bring your friends to the chat. We want to hear everyone's thoughts on the movies that we talk about, the TV shows that we watch, the games that we play. We want to hear from you. Prime Gaming's always talking. He's always got good stuff to say. Presto's always got good stuff to say. We love hearing from you guys and girls. It makes the show that much better when we can actually talk to you, get your thoughts on things that we're talking about, the things that we find interesting. So really, really appreciate the support. What else you got? Anything else? We good?
That is it.
For Fanboy Tone.
And the Dude 79.
I'm the Dude 79. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.